Globies. God fucking damn it. You know, Murray, I'm coming in hot today because we work
it's cold outside.
We work so fucking hard on this show to bring light to these geniuses.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't get our flowers.
Never.
And the people who go out here and just Seth Rogen laugh their way through a movie and say, hey, this is bad, they get all the flowers. What's wrong with our society? You know what? I listened to a long NPR interview of a guy talking about the flattening of civilization because everybody is just spoon-fed shit now. They don't want to actually be challenged, and I guess that's what we do. We're too challenging, Murray.
Well, yeah. We're geniuses in our own right.
Right.
Misunderstood, if you will.
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, I think about how have you heard this?
Let me know. I'll tell you.
Apparently, Seth Meyers has a podcast now.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I only watched his stupid segment, and
I just want to say to Seth Meyers, fuck you. You have a nationally broadcast talk show. Why do you need another talk show taking ears away from us? All you celebrities, you're boring.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Do you honestly think that Travis Kelce and his brother, who looks like Bluto, have said anything ever interesting on their fucking podcast? Yes, they have a podcast too. Yeah. I'm hot now. In fact, nobody probably listened to it till he started fucking dating my sloppy seconds, Taylor Swift.
And they only listened to it to hear about the shit she might have said to him about you.
Right.
So it's this weird world where people don't want to get it from the source. They want to go around about. They want to find our weakness because, guys,
we don't have any.
We don't have a weakness. All right?
Yeah.
Well, we don our yellow fucking Bruce Lee
Is
jammies.
being too perfect a weakness? Because that might be our one weakness, being too perfect.
Well, YouTube has come at us.
Many times.
They've hit us with those warnings. They're trying to backhand us. Did you like that? I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Mark's finishing move to that one guy was just a slap.
That's all you needed.
This movie, it's fantastic.
Yeah, another genius, if you will. I mean, he one and done. He's like, he did everything on this movie, literally. There's little to no information about Mr. Mark Swetland or this movie on the internet.
Right.
And I tried. I did the only thing I came up with, and this is what I assumed from the get-go. Mark Swetland was a martial arts instructor. I'm sure he was in some like shopping plaza dojo somewhere in Buffalo, Buffalo, New York. And the only reason I know it was in Buffalo because we actually see a newspaper dispenser that says Buffalo News on it. So, okay.
Right.
He was in one other movie that our buddy Paul London recommended to me.
Yes.
I watched a few months ago called American Shaolin. It's one of those made by the same company that made like Blood Moon and those kind of movies. So the silly ones called, and he plays Bruce Lee in it. Tall, blonde, white boy. I don't even remember Bruce Lee being in the movie, but now I have to go back and hopefully, if the planets align, we can get Paul on and we can do American Shaolin.
Hey, at some time we'll find him again.
Another misunderstood genius, by the way. You need to appreciate Paul London more.
Right.
Too.
We appreciate him, even though he's slippery. It's hard to get a hold of him, but he's a wrestler after all, and that's what they do. They evade, they maneuver. So he's tough to get a hold on. But before we get too far into the Sweatland, I want to bring up something because, as we mentioned last week with Blackbird, people were asking, and we were able to give the movie out, and the rave reviews come
allegedly. I don't know. We don't know who's listening to this because I don't know the legalities of if this is okay to have this movie in America. Which, by the way, like we said last week, Mr. Flatley, release it in America. It's not that embarrassing.
No.
In fact, I've been told most people use it as for insomnia cure.
That was one of our comments we got. We have our good friend Phil. What's his Twitter name?
Flixology 101.
Flixology 101, who hit me up in an email and said, Griff, I was so tense throughout this whole movie. I have never slept better post-watching it. He was up for an hour or two reading on the message boards to figure out the meanings, which he could have just came to our show and got it. But, he'll get there.
Right.
He'll get to the show.
You think was it the movie or was it all that fried chicken and French fries that they kind of makes you tired?
He's got his own version of the Frasier opening song now. Phil has really taken and run away.
Hear the blues are calling, fried chicken and French fries.
Ha ha ha! Mashed potatoes too. It's great. I love it. I love your track, Phil. It's great.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's ever going to incorporate that into a beverage.
I think he did. I think he did
French fry.
I think he did for his show because he actually reviewed it before he reviewed it with us.
Oh, okay.
I think he did. I might be mistaken. I don't know. Go to Flixology101.com. Find out for yourself.
Back to the Sweatland, though.
Sweatland.
I mean,
back to the Sweatland.
It's
almost a sweat lodge, if you will.
It's almost. I appreciate the fuck out of Mark because there's so many times when we go through these action movies and I say, they really didn't build up the villain. They really didn't do this. They clearly just wrote this stringiest script together where it's like everything's just a farce. Mark actually tried to explain everything in his movie in some way or form.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bruce Lee worship in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, the working title of this movie was Enter the Dragon. Which
okay.
I'm sorry, Mark's already been taken. But there's similar plot points because in Enter the Dragon, Bruce gets revenge off his sister who had been killed. Or she just raped or killed. I don't even remember. I think he was killed.
She got killed.
So, yeah. A lot of Bruce Lee worship in this movie, right down to the bowl cut.
Right. But as I was saying, you got like a villain that they actually build up. We see the villain and how treacherous he is. He fucking bunny traps I forget what those traps are called. Snare trap.
Yeah.
He snare traps a guy in the dick. He's ruthless, and we see his martial arts skills, so we know we have a formidable opponent for Mark.
We get his finisher, the full Nelson.
Oh my God, when he put that full Nelson, he's the one who did the slap. I was mistaking it for Mark. Steiner is the slap, and then the full Nelson. Yeah.
Steiner recliner.
The Steiner recliner.
The Frankensteiner.
We got all kinds of treacherous villains, but
And what I loved about this movie, it was clearly a labor of love. Mark Sweatland was like, I have a story in my heart and I have to get it out. He did everything, and I'm not even joking. He was the director. He was the producer. He was the writer. He was involved with the musical scoring. He was the fight choreographer. He was the editor. He did it all. And quite frankly, Mr. Danzig, he did it better than you. I got to give it up to Mark Sweatland.
Yeah.
There were no lingering shots. Well, there were a couple.
There's a couple.
Fish tank shot lingered a little too much.
Fish tank shot was long. He was doing his homage to Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
He's got to say hi to the fish for the blind kids.
Right. And, I mean, for a one and only movie, not bad, Mark.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back.
And now, you were saying the sign that you saw that gave away Buffalo was the newspaper stand.
Yeah.
But I needed to ask you this because I didn't understand why everybody has a Midwest accent in it.
That's what I appreciated about the movie, in that everybody, because they were obviously, I'm assuming most of the martial artists in the movie were probably the students of Mark Sweatland, I'm assuming. Steiner was probably his own guy.
Yeah, maybe.
But the guys who were just there to get beat up, I think, were probably his students because they were young kids, too.
Right.
I appreciated the fact that these were all obviously his friends and colleagues, and they all, to a man and a woman, looked like blue-collar Midwestern people.
Yeah.
Not an attractive face in the lot. And that's the way we like it here in real America.
Well, no, if anyone was paying attention to the Iowa caucus and everything, you saw what we're repping out there. I mean,
everybody in this movie is pro-MAGA, I'm assuming. They all voted for Trump.
Well, Trump is a badass, very much like most of our characters are badasses.
Yes, very much so.
He's a big... What was with his hand and the blood splotches?
What I heard, and I believe it's blisters from golfing. I believe that makes sense.
That actually does make a lot of sense.
He's got frail, soft... he's got soft as like baby's ass hands. He's never done a hard day with labor in his life.
The hardest labor he has is like the grease pouring out of whatever he's eating.
Right.
And maybe sometimes that's really hot and it scalds him. So maybe that was it. He got a really hot cheeseburger. And he was like, fucking, this is hot stuff. I'm putting it right in my mouth.
But Yeah, this is what we're doing it this week. Mark Swetland, another misunderstood genius. You're going to understand it by the end of this episode. But, yeah, bravo, Mark. He just made it happen. Like, there's so many people that are like, I'd love to do a movie, but I can't because of this, or I can't because of that.
No excuses.
No.
Yeah. This is what I like. One of my litmus tests for people is if they like American movie, which is a movie about people making the movie, you know?
Right, yeah.
But during that, it's like you see the challenges, you see everything in front of you, and they went and they fucking did it. And even if it's not good, they put effort, they put time, they got everyone they could involved. It was so fucking difficult. You got to see how hard it is. Mark went through all that. And I want to give Mark a kudos for something else. His action in this movie, more entertaining than a lot of the action we see. His choreography.
For super low budget movie, decent action. And decent filming of the action.
Yeah. Like, I want to get Paul. That's something I need to get Paul London's opinion on because he loves martial arts scenes.
Right.
And I want to know how he feels about the martial arts in this movie because that Steiner fight was actually fucking good. Like, it felt like a real fight.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It looked like when people are sparring.
Yeah.
It didn't,
It looked like a fight to the death when things got hairy. They weren't just like, hey, let's back up and, really make this a scene. No, they were rough and tumbling. They were rolling across the ground.
It looked like a pre-UFC MMA fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was grappling. And all the shit looked like it connected.
Yes.
I mean, they were, he did a good job.
He did a great job. And again, it's like this guy had no idea what the fuck he was doing. He just got a camera, got people, put all his fucking together. And
thanks to this movie, apparently he got a job playing Bruce Lee and a bit part in American Shaolin. So,
unfortunately, you said that we don't know what's happened to him. And honestly,
well, no, I do know what happened to him. He owns a safe cracking business in Buffalo. He was also an iron worker, which explains why there's so many scenes at a steel mill in this movie. Because I'm sure his boss said, "Oh, on the weekend, yeah, you can use the steel mill for shooting."
Okay. Do we know where he came from? Because he seems like he came out of nowhere, Murray.
What do you mean where he came from?
Like, do we have any history on him outside?
No, I don't know anything about his martial arts background at all. I typed in Mark Swetland, martial artist. Nothing came up. Or something about blood and steel came up. But nothing about... I assumed that he had won some competition somewhere.
Right.
Maybe he did, like upstate New York. I don't know.
I'm a little worried because this is starting to sound like he has one of Steven Seagal's backgrounds.
Well, yeah. Up till about 5 months ago, he didn't exist, according to the internet.
That's terrifying.
And then when Blood and Steel came out, and people are like, who is this mysterious man?
I'm a little nervous doing this episode now because you know how we put things on the map. Vinegar Syndrome's listening intently right now. They have my house.
And they still don't give us a deal on anything.
I know. They have my house bugged because they want to listen to the live feed. Just like Taylor wants to listen to the live feed. No. She's still harping over you, dude.
Tay, get over it. And by the way, I can't wait till tomorrow when my team destroys your sloppy second team, the Chiefs.
She got to leave Kelsey for...
She's going to... for Josh.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and he's apparently he's dating some, minor celebrity, so...
I'd imagine. So, I like how you threw that in there. You just slipped that one in. There's some minor celebrity.
In my world, you're a minor celebrity, Taylor.
Well, Murray, we know we're going to do 45 hours on this.
I couldn't believe we did 2.5 on Blackbird. I was like, Griff... 90-minute episode, maybe we can. No, 2.5. Yeah,
2.5.
The movie dictates the length of the episode.
We don't. I mean, we have the notes just so we know which way we're going with everything, but we don't plan on where the questions will lead us. That's just something that happens during,
Right. I mean, if you want, we could do 40 minutes of this. This sucks.
Bad haircut. She's not attractive. Seth Rogen.
And then make some kind of we're high on weed joke or something. We could do that.
Yeah.
And get thousands and thousands of listens.
I haven't had enough alcohol to enjoy this episode.
Well, I've never heard that one before.
No, never heard it? Are you going to go out to the balcony? Your deck, maybe?
My private balcony.
Yeah? Take Swami out there?
Oh.
See what I did there?
That's a very inside joke.
Yeah,
right
I know.
There. But all right, we're gonna get to this. All you sweat hogs out there, we know you love the fucking Sweatland. We're gonna take you a trip to the Sweatlands with this movie entitled Blood and Steel.
There is a place without boundaries. A place without limits. Love is that place. A place that is about to be violated.
Murdered? My sister? Get him! You gotta be kidding. You mean one guy just took you all on?
His blinding passion is to destroy the den of evil who have brought chaos and offended his family. And from a distant land comes Steiner, a fighter who is unequaled in hand-to-hand combat.
You'll die if you fight me. I'm paid to be here, and I'm gonna kill you.
Blood and Steel. What follows is an all-out tour de force battle of martial arts, and Sweatland shatters the domain of corruption.
All right, Golan-Globus.
We just came back. I had to see what the fuck Griff was talking about with this YouTube Blood and Steel review, and I am so disgusted with this country we live in. These guys fucking sucked.
If there's,
and they had what, 60,000 views for their shitty fucking review of this movie?
Oh my god!
Fuck this. What is it, people? Is it you have to see us? Is that it? It's not enough that you hear us, because these guys weren't even appealing visually. And the guy, one of them had a nerve to wear a Cannon shirt. Fuck you.
You see how I came in hot today, audience?
Yes.
Because I came across that. And we actually fucking try our hardest to make...
I don't know if we try our hardest, but still we put more effort into it than these fuckheads.
Right. And literally
it was like 40 minutes of guys, that's fucking lame.
I didn't expect a slasher movie. That's the commentary you
in
get.
that fucking monotone that Griff did, too. Like, they're not even expressive in how they say their boring shit.
Right.
Fuck these guys.
The only thing missing there is our faces aren't out there, because everybody in the comments is like, I'm glad you guys review this because this movie is entertaining. One guy had my hot take. The action's more fun than John Wick.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck's going on?
What the fuck?
Alrighty.
This world's not fair.
We got a job to do, Murray.
Yeah, we got to do a real review.
We gotta pitch this movie to Vinegar Syndrome so they can make $40,000 off of us.
No.
Oh, I thought we were doing the bit now where we just get really quiet. Yeah. And someone goes swimming.
Well, people loved it, yeah.
I know.
60 some outside people loved it.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So we're opening.
And I want to let everybody know. Don't think we don't have video because we are unattractive. We're way better looking than those guys on top of it.
Jesus Christ.
Better, sexier voices, better looking, funnier, all around entertaining.
I mean, we just talked about
Are we supposed to just drink beers? Is that funny?
I guess so. I guess. That's the thing to do.
I'm sorry we have to vent, but it's just like when you see garbage. I understand. That's what I understand. Like the people, like the musicians and the filmmakers that we love, probably feel the same way.
Yes,
they're not being appreciated, and they see the tripe that is being lauded. They're getting all the flowers.
Right.
We're not even getting petals, let alone flowers.
Oh my god.
It causes bitterness because you're like, what is this garbage?
Right.
Garbage.
Right. There's better content out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if all I ask is don't even listen to us. Just stop listening to those guys.
I agree with that. Right there.
right there.
Motherfuckers have commercials paying them.
That really fucking annoys me. But anyway, Blood and Steel. By the way, when I was with, here's another thing we put effort into. If these shitheads like this don't, I'm like, what's our opening song gonna be? There's got to be a Manowar song called Blood and Steel. It just reeks of Manowar. And sure enough, there is a Manowar song called Blood and Steel. But when I heard the ending song of this movie, I said, no, this has to be the opening song. The one thing that Sweatland wasn't involved with.
Yeah.
But he approved it. He said, that's the song.
It's insane. We've done 3 movies now.
Yeah.
And the one done by a musician had the least music in it.
Yeah.
Danzig.
Well, he did have the opening song. He wrote for,
Right. And you know what? It's a simple, it just repeats the chorus and everything. But I enjoyed it. And he should have done a lot more of it.
Yeah.
So, Danzig,
also, I didn't plan this much. Nothing's ever planned with this show. If you listen to the show long enough, you'll see that.
The movie's planned.
The movie's planned. But as far as, I didn't just notice this until recently. Every single movie we've done this month, revenge for someone being killed. Danzig, Death Rider's avenging a sister. John S. Rad's Dangerous Men. It was about avenging
husband.
Brother,
husband and
brother.
Husband and brother.
Well, fiance.
Fiance and brother.
Blackbird
Sibling.
avenging fiance.
Yep.
And then this movie, Avenging Sister. It's back to sister again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot we did Blackbird. That is just a black hole in my memory.
Yeah, we literally talked about it in the beginning of this
know,
episode.
and I completely blanked out on it.
You're not alone, Phil. Yeah, we all...
That is that movie. It is a black hole.
Yeah. But you know what is it? Blood and Steel.
So we're opening up on a classic suburban white middle class, like lower middle class backyard.
Working class. Yeah, we can tell above ground pool.
Tiny-
That's the poor people's. Well,
yeah.
People look down on rich people have this fucking
in-grounds.
Yeah. Above ground, you're trash.
It felt like you were struggling for in-ground after you said above ground.
You're aspiring to be an in-ground person.
Yes.
But you can't. And to make it even more low rent, they had like a plywood platform they made.
Yep, they built the upper deck so you could actually like step up, and as our friends on the internet told us, she's trying to dive into a 4-foot pool.
It was 5
she wasn't.
foot, by the way.
It's 5 foot?
Yeah.
Murray is so good. You would be perfect for Tinder and everything, because you can look at an object, tell where the person's at by the object, and go, that person is X amount of inches tall. You don't even do height. Approximate. You do inches.
Right. Yeah. I've done enough carpentry in my life that I do that. It's innate.
It's incredible.
It's one of the many talents I have that those shitheads don't have.
That's right. Well, we're multifaceted, talented people.
Right.
We live real lives. We have more to say than bad.
Well, what's not people. Bad? This movie.
This
movie. I think it looked like it was shot on film.
Oh my, 100%.
There's a grain to it. It claims it came out in 1990. We are in Buffalo, after all, so it's possible it is 1990, but it looks so early 80s.
It's incredible.
Every guy's a mustache.
Yes. It's incredible that they kept sportswear off people, because if this is early 90s, the Buffalo Bills merch would be out of this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I think Sweatland is looking for a timeless kind of feel. He's like, I don't want it to be set in this particular era. You know, there are no OJ jerseys.
Right there. Misunderstood genius. He knew I can't have sports merch because that'll time my movie.
Right.
And I want it to be timeless.
Right. Because I just said a minute ago, I can't pinpoint the time. No. I'm like, 82?
No.
According to IMDb, it's 1990.
Yeah, it looks like early 80s, maybe late 70s, like by the outfits and everything. So
the hairstyles.
The cars. The
yeah.
fact that these like white middle trash people are driving.
Well, yeah, like I said, remember, we're in Midwest America, the Rust Belt.
Yeah.
Buffalo, very similar to Detroit. We know the vibe.
I grew up in a white middle trash family, so I'm okay. I'm one of them. It's okay.
Right, yeah.
We had an above ground pool.
Yeah, we all the neighborhoods in this movie, the neighborhoods Griffin I grew up in.
Yeah.
There's tract houses everywhere.
You're not allowed to live in a house. They don't build these houses anymore because they don't yield enough money or whatever.
You
can
need
build
a big mansion, yeah.
Yeah, you got it like I have surrounded by.
Right.
fucking garbage. We're supposed to be talking about this movie.
This is probably why people don't listen to us and listen to these shitheads.
It might be.
It's too much about
Maybe
us.
we need to look at ourselves, Murray.
Maybe we need to stop talking about ourselves. You're right. By the way, I apologize for the half hour last week in Blackbird about shit that had nothing to do with Blackbird. If you're a new listener.
Yeah, sorry.
But we had to do something to make it interesting for us and you.
Right.
All right. So Judy is out swimming in her white trash above ground, little not skinny dipping. But
not skinny dipping, which is the wrong way to do it. If you're going to be out swimming at night, you got to skinny dip.
I think it's the law. You have to be naked when you swim at night.
I was worried where you're going with that one. Yeah. The law says take your fucking clothes off.
We go inside the nice middle trash, as Griff calls it. They coined the phrase middle trash. Was that just like a poor white person who has a job? Is that middle trash?
That's the people who are actually doing okay in life and can afford an above ground pool.
Yeah.
White trash can't. They have the fucking little plastic pools you put your feet into.
Yeah. And a guy right off working his middle trash job at some kind of factory.
Well, steel factory probably. He probably works at the same factory that Mark does.
He's grabbing a beer.
Stubby.
A non-ironic Pabst Blue Ribbon. He really enjoys the flavor. And he's just like, hey, where's Kathy at? Because like Griff said, this is upstate New York, yet everyone sounds like they're from fucking Chicago.
The classic thing to say about British people is terrible teeth and all that. Man, everybody in this movie had awful teeth.
And awful hair and awful faces.
It was incredible. Okay.
And then Judy goes, she's on her way over.
She'll be right here. And we linger in this pool. And it's like, how much, Mitch Hedberg said it best, how much fun can you have in an above ground pool? I'm looking at your feet. You get in, you get out, you dive off the fucking deck a few more times, and then Judy is just hanging out, kicking her feet.
Yeah, there was a nice foot fetish at Tarantino. Tarantino studied this movie. There's a lot of references to Kill Bill in this movie.
Again, once you get too far into the filming world,
or should I say Kill Bill has a lot of blood and steel references.
Yeah, when you get too far into the filming world, you get in your own head. You're like, I got to do it this way. I got to do this way. You got to look at some fresh, new takes on film. You know,
I need to check the credits for Kill Bill. I bet fight choreographer Mark Swetland.
It might have been. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Judy, she's just kicking her feet up for the camera, giving a nice foot fetish shot for everybody.
That's right. We get a jump scare. Cat shrieks out or something, and she clutches the pearls she's not wearing.
We see a mysterious figure in the background in a ski mask, watching.
Right.
Lurking.
Right. And at first, when I watched this the second time, I was like, there's no reason for this. No. Like I said at the opening, Mark tied everything together. Seamless movie. So, jump scare's over. She relaxes. She puts her feet, kicks back up. She's arms resting on the side of the fucking pool here, kicking her feet out again, when suddenly a blade's at her throat.
And he just slashes her throat. Blood trickles a little. I mean, it's a low-budget movie. We don't have the prosthetics, all right? There's no Tom Savini on this fucking set.
Yeah. So, Kathy, we see her driving.
Somehow even less attractive than Judy. I don't know how they did that. But, yeah, she's driving in her car. She comes up. Did she spot Judy? I don't remember.
We take our time here. Mark really, again, wants to set things up. So she's like, Mark's thinking, what about her keys? Okay, she parks. We see her put the car in park. We see how the stick shift works and everything. We see she's got a clutch. Think about all these details Mark's giving us. This is not a Danzig movie. He's giving us details.
There's actually stuff happening in the lingering shots instead of someone just staring off into space.
Yes. She turns to her purse and puts her keys in the purse and leaves the purse.
And zips it up.
Yeah, zips it up and then leaves the purse in the car. Gets out, goes up, and just like, Judy? Judy! Judy! Oh no! Mike!
Well, she goes in the house. I don't remember if she even saw it. Did she see Judy? I don't even remember.
She saw Judy.
All right, she goes in the house. Mike! Judy's been killed! And then we just see some feet in a room. And
she starts slowly walking towards the feet. And you're thinking, oh no, someone's going to jump out and get her. Well, no. The person waiting to jump out and get her is already behind her.
it's Ski Mask Man, and he attacks her, and she's on the ground, and we get beautiful. I think Mark did this Foley work too.
Yes.
Because she's clawing, as she's being dragged, she's clawing at the carpet, and there's a tear of a towel.
Yes.
Rip.
Yeah, it's some kind of cloth or something.
Seamless.
She manages to struggle away, and Mark did a great job with the struggles. They do look pretty real.
She was probably another one of his students.
Right. Yes, good point. She gets into the kitchen where she goes in and finds the biggest knife possible. Classic move.
Yeah.
And Baklava guy, I don't know if it fogged over or something, but he doesn't really seem to be paying close attention to the fact that she's wielding a knife now. Because
she's just a frail woman. He's not intimidated.
Yeah, maybe he thought he was Jason Voorhees or something, because he didn't seem to put up much resistance to her just putting a knife in his chest.
In his shoulder. And she gets away, gets in her car, and like what you pointed out, Mark sets it up so the tension builds because she's got to unzip her purse. Right. She has to struggle inside. Kleenex, tampons, everything's coming out.
Even when she fucking gets out the back door, we all know how women gravity works in these kind of movies. She falls immediately. And she's got to punch her legs to get them to function again. Then she gets to the car. Then she's doing the fucking death struggle with her purse, getting through everything. She's got 5 different kinds of pepper spray in here.
Right. She starts the car up, and then the guy reaches in, still with the knife in his fucking shoulder.
Didn't bother.
Grabs at her, but she takes off.
Yeah, he just like pinned her throat to the back of the headrest. And we see her reaching, because again, he showed us how the clutch works and everything. And we see her perfectly maneuver it. It's like she trained for this.
Takes off. Then they see the killer. He pulls the knife out finally, drops it to the ground. We know he's in all black. White shoes. Is Lemmy Kilmister the villain? Is he the killer?
He might be.
Because that's a Lemmy look, all black with white shoes.
And the baklava covers everything, the facial hair that you would expect to see.
There's an actor in here who has Lemmy facial hair, too. He's black, but...
I did see a protrusion where his warts are.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, his moles, yeah.
And then we go right to credits. A lot of kung fu credits.
Yeah, a lot of flipping, a lot of turning. Mark's having the time of his life putting this film together. And maybe that's our big get, Murray. Maybe that's our big break as we get Mark Swetland on an interview.
Mark, if you're listening, and I know you are, fellow Buffalo bro, let's do it.
Buffalo bro. And I'm sorry I said
Buffalo Brothers.
Middle trash.
That's what you say, and you fuck Taylor Swift, you're Buffalo Brothers. All right, so now Mark. I could totally. It makes fitting that Mark did one of those Paul London movies. He would be the perfect hero in that world, the silly world. I think they're called seasonal films. I don't remember what it was. Like Blood Moon. He would have been perfect for that. I think he's a little too goofy for like a Seagal movie or what have you, a Cannon movie. I don't think he could have done that.
Yeah,
but he would have been perfect in this world.
I mean, he did a great job considering he has no talent,
no acting talent.
No real acting chops. So he hasn't worked through it all. You're seeing him try to figure it out as.
Well, there's a lot of emotional scenes.
Yeah,
he's trying,
and he fucking. Nowadays, if a guy made a movie like this, he would not be able to do half of what Mark did. He would have turned it into an AEW comedy,
right? And
it would have been awful. But he tried.
Why? Mark's not self-aware. He believes in himself and in what he's doing. He might not be good at it, but he believes in himself.
Yeah,
and that's what makes this movie entertaining, no matter what those guys on YouTube say.
So we're waking up and we're checking out this fish tank. And we're really checking out this fish tank. We're watching it for like 9
fish,
minutes.
2 fish, green fish, blue fish.
That's right.
I said. And and then we see Mark's face just pop in. Hey, fishies! And then he greets his dog.
This is interesting because they also brought up John DeHart in their video, but they didn't do it for this reason. You remember how John had to show off his dog?
Yeah, that's what I wrote that in my notes.
Yeah, because
maybe it's a martial art guy thing. You have to put dominance on your dog.
Right. So he gets downstairs where he pulls out a tiny produce bag full of dog food, And he's like, you're going to have to work for this food, girl.
You have to beg for it.
Beg for it. That's an interesting use of words there. But he starts showing off her tricks for the camera.
Which is just getting on their hind legs, which flashbacks to John DeHart. He does the exact same scene.
Begging.
Except John DeHart had a little toy poodle, white poodle, with a little black belt on.
That's
her.
right.
That's a little cuter than
It was. It was. John DeHart did it better. But things are going well and all that.
He's just ready for the day, greeting the day. Can't wait to get out there, go to the steel mill.
She's eating. He's got 2 eggs out. He cut an orange in half, and then he's got a glass empty. And I'm like, what is this breakfast he's preparing? Is he going to crack the eggs into the glass and squirt the orange juice in there and just fucking shoot it?
Just as he's about to do that, his girlfriend Marie arrives. Okay. How do I say this in today's...
You don't have to say much about it, Murray. You don't have to do
I
a lot.
have to paint a picture.
Okay.
Perfect Midwest girlfriend.
Yes.
I totally believe this was his girlfriend in real life. Or it was the daughter of somebody who gave some funding to this movie.
Yeah.
Heavy set, I guess. Is that the word
works.
I could use?
Yeah.
Heavy set girl. Midwest. Corn-fed, we call it in the Midwest. And she's just like... Mark. But we mentioned his character is named Mark Swetland. He's playing himself in this movie.
That's okay. You can do that. And so she knocks at the door, and both him and the dog turn towards the door, and he goes, keep eating. I'll check this one out.
And then Marie's like, Mark, we need to talk.
Something.
And then he goes, the dog comes out, he goes, quiet! Go lie down! He just screams at his dog.
I know. I was like,
It's a sweet little dog.
I know. I was immediately turned on Mark Swetland. I was like, you bastard. That dog didn't even bark. He just turned the corner and was like looking like, hey, I love Marie. And he was like, no, get the fuck out of here, you stupid shit.
So Marie's like, Mark, Judy's dead. No mention of Mike at all. Mike is the husband who got his neck broken, by the way. No one cares about Mike.
He might be Mark's brother in real life.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Swetlands in the credits. So he's like, what? My sister?
How could it be? Emotions, crying, tears.
Jumps up, zoom in. Throws a fist up a la Bruce Lee.
Oh, no, he's just down by his waist. You just see him, like, turn it into a fist, and as he's turning it into a fist, he's doing it so hard, all of his knuckles crack.
You can hear somebody breaking some celery.
Yeah, and then for some reason, there's also a gong to go along with it. You see, Mark, the details, fantastic.
Cut to Marie. She's looking at a photo of... people that aren't, I'm assuming Kathy and maybe Mike.
Are you gonna put this up on Twitter? I gave it to you. I don't know.
People want it. I'll put it up. They want that they can decipher it.
I mean,
I'm game for it. We need some kind of comment, something to get people involved.
I know, right? Apparently, you just need our faces next to it. This is such an interesting photo because this is supposed to be Mark's house, but this is clearly not a picture of Mark in either of the people.
Well, yeah, one's a woman.
Yeah.
But
One's a girl.
One looks like he's a Swetland.
Yes.
But I don't think it's Mark because he doesn't have the blonde bowl cut. He has like a brown bowl cut.
Right. And then the girl is like a 10-year-old child or something. But she
it looked like a grown woman. It wasn't a child.
You thought that was a grown
There's no
woman?
No, she was not a child.
I thought she was a child.
No, there's no.
Okay. I see what we're doing here.
At worst, 15, 16. At the youngest. No, what, we think she was 10? No.
I thought she was 10.
No, you're totally wrong.
I thought she was
because it was
baby.
fucking Kathy. It was a girl that plays Kathy.
Okay, that makes sense. But one has like a fucking certificate of karate, and the other one has a karate trophy.
They're wearing karate gis.
And
yeah.
Marie, again, no one in this movie is a trained actor, but Marie was.
I thought you could say no one in this movie was attractive, but
Marie had to be the worst of them because she's constantly hiding a smile, and so a friend just died. 2 friends, although Mike obviously is not a friend.
And the sister of the man she loves.
Yes. And she's just
Mike, but who gives a fuck?
hiding
Mike,
a little smile and looking into this photo. And I was just like, what the fuck?
All right, now we're going to meet our villain. We're at a construction site. We assume it's a construction site. I think it's a steel mill. But it's in those little offices. Is it
like the trailers?
Yeah, the trailer offices.
Yeah.
And we see our main villain, Mr. Patterson, who is clearly wearing a wig. Like it's from the Stavros collection.
Great hair.
From Kojak. It's a curly wig. Who does he look like? He looks like somebody.
He looks like a lot of people. At first, I was like, he's Jack Black with blue eyes.
No, he looks older than Jack Black.
But I mean, yeah, okay.
He's like, there's somebody who looks, but he's like a fat guy, fat Midwest guy with a beard, a graying beard, pitch black curly hair. It's a fucking full wig.
Oh yeah, it's great. This guy, I think this guy was not a good actor. I think he was in a lot of these level movies though.
I don't think anyone in this movie was ever in a movie
calling
again,
it now.
Except for
I
Mark
think
Swetler.
he showed up and said, "Yeah, I know how to build the heat. I'm gonna have this big gray beard and then this awful Stavros jet black curly hair."
I don't believe that. I believe that's that guy's wig he wears in his real life.
God, Sweatland, come on, man, interview.
And he gets on the horn. That's what they call the phone. And he
had a call waiting for him when he got in the office.
And he is pissed. Damn it! I told you not to leave without it! And we're like, what is it? What is going on? We're already infested. I want to know.
I know. Mark, jeez, tease me a little more.
And then he's like, look, I got another plan. Lay low for now.
Tell all the boys to lay low. I got something worked out.
Get me, he goes to the secretary, get me Hank and Ed. Stat.
All right, Hank and Ed, I can't wait to... he's already an unsavory character, this Mr. Patterson. I don't know about this Hank and Ed.
So cut to, we're at Kathy's house. We're with Kathy, and I don't know if it's Kathy's dad or Mark's dad. I don't know who this guy is. Bob, I think was his name. And Kathy's explaining what happened because she was at the scene of the crime.
Yes, and again, no emotion. Maria's still kind of smiling a little bit.
I stabbed the killer in the shoulder, Mark. Because Mark wants full revenge, like any good action hero would.
Yes.
But he has no leads. I stabbed him in the shoulder. You should look for someone with a shoulder wound.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mike got his neck snapped. But who cares about Mike?
So Kathy is telling Mark that her and Judy actually bumped into some guys who pulled knives on her.
Speaking of people with knives, the other day we bumped into guys with knives.
Because Mark, of course, does the thing. Why would anybody want to stab you? Like, what could have happened? Oh, well, we did have this one run-in after we were done at the zoo.
We're almost raped. Oh, yeah. You think there's a connection?
Is Mark saying something about women not reporting,
Well,
assault?
these women were well-trained martial artists, so they didn't really
maybe they
have
thought
to.
the cops would come after them.
No, they were like, we don't need protection. We're our own protection.
We're our own.
We're
Take it into our own hands.
Right, we're lethal weapons.
Okay.
So she's like, yeah, we were at the zoo, and we might have got a photo of these guys.
What? You almost got a photo? Yeah, with Judy's camera. Whoa. Why do you have Judy's camera? I love that Mark sounded very upset about that.
He's covering every base, because why would she?
That's a good point. Is he throwing some shade on Kathy here, though? Is he like, Kathy, are you suspicious?
No, it's just Mark Swetland going like, everything's gonna make sense.
Okay.
He probably spent his whole life writing the screenplay. And she's like, yeah, and I have the film. Maybe we'll get a lead if we develop this film. Why didn't you go to the police? And then they're like, well, let me explain.
And
first.
I love how they do the transition, though, because she's in the mid-sentence saying,
there's another beautiful transition we'll get to later. There's beautiful transitions in this movie.
Yeah, there is. Mark did a fucking good job. All right. We're going into that fucking transition. Kathy and Judy are, they're in their very fancy car that a middle trash family would have. Young girls working at a gas station 8 hours a week could afford. Can't afford any car nowadays. 8 hours a week? 8 hours a week, man.
Wow.
That's a hard 8 hours.
Hour and a half a day or something
That's
like that?
a hard 8 hours. Hard.
The car breaks down. and we'll find out later what the deal is. But a car painted like a roll of Lifesavers rolls up. Did you notice that?
I did notice it was mostly red, and then in the middle it had the rest of the life.
It was like, is this a gay pride car? Because it was like a rainbow on the side.
It was full of mustache dudes and
it was
tight
like
jeans.
It was some kind of muscle car, like a Trans Am or some shit like that.
I don't know my cars, but I do know it was, like you said, Lifesaver.
It's a white trash car.
It's a metal white trash car. Metal
and
white.
it's full of guys. I think there were 2 cars, weren't there? Because there were a lot of guys. Was it a clown car? Because like 20 guys get out of this car.
Well, Murray, when you had bench seating, you could get away with shit like this.
One guy jumps out wearing something from the Rob Halford collection. He's got a leather sleeveless shirt with like studded suspenders and a little leather cap with like metal studs along the brim.
I remember there's 2 cutouts like up by his collarbones too, just like little slits so you could see the skin under there. But then he also had the effect, like if you remember the Cowbell Will Ferrell scene where his belly kept popping out.
Yeah.
This guy, he didn't have a full halter top. He just wanted like an inch or 2.
What's a leather shirt? Leather's expensive, dude.
Yeah, that's true. So he just couldn't afford it. Right. Like maybe he gets another inch stitched on every year.
Maybe.
So he's got this little bit of gut hanging out, and of course, mom jeans on.
Right. And he's like, oh, hey, you need some help? Yeah, could you help us? Oh, let me check it out. Pop the hood, look on. Oh, it's just your coil wire.
Come here. See? This is your coil wire.
It's loose. It must have been vibrating, and it just came loose. Well, I got something that vibrates. And now, like, oh my God, we're thinking these are some good Samaritans.
We think they're good Samaritans. This dude, again, you can't judge a book by its cover.
This guy's like total cruising like outfit. Good. I judged him. He had a plaid fucking rag hanging out the back of his pants. And we know what that means if you listen to the cruising episode.
Mark really threw us a curveball here. Yeah. Because he was like, everyone who knows this guy's gay, and of course he's going to be helpful. But then
and he does not have a mustache. He's the one guy without a mustache.
No facial hair, period. Yeah. So then when the vibration comment comes up, we cut over to the rest of his crew drinking, stubbies, and driving. All right? So we know these are mischievous dudes. One guy's got greasy black hair and a mustache. His gut's hanging out. He's wearing a baby blue polo.
But they're not racist.
They're not.
People would think a middle trash guy would be racist. But you got one black guy. He's the one black guy you see at the metal shows that goes with him.
That's right.
He's got the Lemmy mutton chops connected to a mustache look going on.
He's got fucking big arms, too.
Well, he's a martial artist.
I mean, he's not huge, but he had some fucking jacked arms.
And so they're like, well, hey, thanks. That was all. And the guy's like, hey, you give me a reward?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Minding the rudeness. Again, this is Midwest kindness. That guy was fucking rude as shit about it. And they're just like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Let me go. Can I borrow money from you? Yeah, of course. Just going along with it. So
Kathy gets her purse out, hands it to Judy. And the guy, call him Rob Halford guy, yoink, grabs the purse away. Starts griffing all through it.
Oh, man, there's so much griffing in this movie. Starts ripping through it. Oh, hey, cool, $20. $20, fellas. And then they're yelling stuff at him, and he's still fumbling through shit going, yeah, I know. And he loses focus, and he goes, here, you guys have fun with this. Throws them the purse. They're dumping beer. They're pulling out the tampons. They get the fucking pepper spray.
And then they pull out her fucking license. They go, Judy Sweatland. It's 1313 Mockingbird Lane, Buffalo, New York. I'll remember that. And then they're like, hey, there's a camera in here too.
Yeah, this is where our Jim Hanzik, I think.
Tom Hanzik. The black guy. He walks over to the car and notices there's a very fancy camera on there with a really big lens on it.
Telephoto lens.
Right. And so he pulls it out and he's like, hey, fucking check this out.
He did not sound like that at all.
Okay. I got a lens and a camera.
Griff doesn't want to sound racist doing a black guy voice.
That's a good point, and I did a good job of it. And so he's like, hey, get a picture of me with these bitches.
And then he goes up, hi, my name is Tom Hanzik. And then he puts his arms around her. And then they're like, all right, that's enough. Time to rape. Get that blonde girl. Tom, you keep your eye on this less good looking brunette. We're all gonna run a train on this blonde.
So they head out to this open field.
I'm glad you
4v1.
like. I was having trouble with this line, but I think you heard it the same way I did. Tom goes, "I'm gonna give you my chocolate chip dip." I thought he said. I was like, "Did he say dick?" Or I had to go back and listen to it again.
I put closed captioning on.
Yeah.
Me, you, and closed captioning heard chocolate chip dip.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Because dick makes more sense, but
Yeah.
but it was dip. That's what I heard.
He was doing the old wrestling thing where you don't use swear words, you use words that in place are kind of even worse. Like that chocolate chip dip somehow
I'm gonna
is
use
worse.
that next time.
The chocolate chip.
Hey, lady, how would you like some chocolate chip dip?
You're gonna have to practice that in front of the
I'm
mirror.
gonna have to learn
That's
how
a
to
tongue
speak.
twister.
It is. So they take Judy to like a field across the street. 'Cause this is a very like heavily wooded, like 2-lane road.
Oh, yeah, it's-
Car even drives by and doesn't even do anything.
Naturally, Midwest, they of course waved and said, "You have a headlight out.
Right.
Get that checked on."
So they're ready to rape Judy, but she's ready to kick some ass and kick ass. She kind of does.
Kinda. I mean,
She clearly wasn't a student of Mark Wetland's because her
it's lacking. She's like beginner. You know, she's in her first year.
She's what is that? White belt?
Yeah,
beginner.
I think so.
Yeah.
She's got the ideas down, but she doesn't have the execution down.
She's doing it like we all did as little kids when we were trying to copy Bruce Lee movies.
A lot of hi-yas.
Yeah, a lot of kias and a lot of just rigid kicks.
What we call the sweet stand kicks.
Yeah,
Nothing getting above her waist. Nothing getting above their waist, which actually works into her favor. But there is a guy coming at her. Oh, yeah. We need to talk about this. Rob is our leather boy.
Yeah.
His knife acting, clearly he went to like a weekend course. Because he had that knife. He's licking it. He's rubbing it on the empty void in his leather jacket. Like
I think maybe a correspondence course on
correspondence,
knife
yeah.
wielding.
I mean, it seemed like he took out like a little thing to sharpen
Whetstone?
it, a whetstone to sharpen it with, which you actually do have to wet
Well, this
it.
is his one shot. You
It
know,
is.
he's like, I want to be up on the stage like Rob Halford.
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do it unless I really show off.
But it was the greasy black-haired mustache man who Kathy actually steals the knife from, kicks the other people, chucks the knife into greasy black-haired man's toe.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier, this is no Tom Savini movie. This was a great Tom Savini gag. We see the guy put his foot up, knife going through his foot.
Yeah.
No idea how they did that.
No idea. It actually looked good.
And it's like, get that bitch. And then she fucking, Kathy hears that. So, like, Tom's like, hi, remember me? I'm Tom. With a chocolate chip dip. And he puts his hand right on the front of the car.
Hold on, it looks like the wire coil is about to pop
Coil
again.
wire is getting loose. And he's like, what? And he looks away, and then she kicks out the thing that holds up the hood. Hood falls down on his hand. That it incapacitates him. Did they like chop his hand off? Because they made some mention like,
Okay.
what the fuck is that?
Okay, there is a moment when they run back, and I believe it's Judy is getting into the passenger side. He goes, "What did you do to his hand?" So I guess they completely removed his hand, but it is fantastic, and it is classic wrestling. You get hit with a shoe, and you are unconscious for
Right.
days.
Yeah. So Judy is surrounded by 3 guys. 3 flawless sweet stand kicks, and they'd all collapse.
That's right. They got blood pouring out of their mouths and everything.
Nobody got hit in the face at all. She couldn't get her
No,
foot up that high.
No. Greasy guy is still in the back looking at his knife toe. Oh, it's awful.
Jump in the car, and then they're about to take off. And the captain's like, wait, your camera. Go get your camera.
Right.
So they grab the camera, and they head back from the flashback.
The flashback. They have nothing.
Mark goes, hey, I got a friend, Roy Adams. He's a detective now. Maybe he can help us. I'll put in a call.
He's a private investigator.
This kid was like maybe 18.
Maybe 18. Yeah.
Chubby little dude, starter mustache.
Yeah. He would have been great in Freaks and Geeks. He would have fit into that cast perfectly as a bully or something.
All right, now Mr. Patterson has his whole gang of elderly men.
It's just so good. Ed, Hank, I think, was in there.
And he's just like, look, we got a situation going on right now.
I don't want to slow down the operation.
What is the situation? There was a picture.
Okay, guys, just understand. We know what's going on here because we've seen the movie. This is very much a movie you got to watch twice to really get. But
Misunderstood genius.
Exactly. Mr. Patterson, it seems to be living in his own world. We don't understand that there's a connection between the gang we just saw and Mr. Patterson.
Right.
We don't understand there's a connection between Judy and Mr. Patterson. So this is where we get a little bit more, like, not even full information about it.
So he's just like, we must render this information impotent.
And now what he's talking about is the camera.
You need that camera. That's what that the masked man was trying to get at Judy's place.
Right.
But it was at Kathy's place, which is why they didn't get it.
Right.
Told you, seamless.
Patterson
hands out the assignments to his elderly goons. Ed, set it up like Tom Hansick and his chocolate chip dip has an accident. Joe, find a replacement for Tom Hansick and his chocolate chip dip. Hank, tighten security and you keep an eye on everything. Dead men don't talk, and we can't risk slowing down this operation.
It's so coded. Like when you watch it the first time, you're like, "What the fuck is happening? Are these stories merging in some way?" They are. All
right, now we learn Marie does have some. This is why Mark keeps her around. She has some talent. She can develop film. So she's in the dark room developing that film that Kathy and Judy had taken.
Right.
He's on the phone, on the horn, talking with Roy, and Roy's like, I'll be there, buddy.
For your sister, anything. She is the hottest piece of ass in Buffalo.
Sadly, that
are
might be
her and
true.
Mike going through trouble? Who's Mike?
So
you see, that's a dig at Mike. No one gives a shit that he died.
So yeah, Mike's never mentioned ever again.
Even though this character gets a name too. Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, they don't even go to Mike's gravesite at the end.
No, they don't.
So
Sister
Marie's like,
Nero.
Here are those pictures developed. Hey, I recognize this chocolate chip dip. That's Tom Hansick. He has his own dojo. I used to compete against him.
What? Yeah, he's teaching. We should go find out. But I'll do it in the morning. I need to think this one over.
Now, this I was talking about, the beautiful transition. Because there's a poster on the wall with an open fire.
Yes.
And it zooms in. John DeHart couldn't even do this.
I almost got you a picture of that. Because
No, we need a GIF of that.
You want to get... Oh.
Yeah, because that's got to... We might need to see the transition.
Okay.
Zoom in on the picture of a fire and then all of a sudden zoom out and it's a real fire. And we're in a different scene now.
It was so good. Mark sitting on the carpet in front of the fire. And usually we're used to this being coitus time. You know, you got nice music. You got the champagne on ice.
There's a bucket of ice, yeah.
Yeah, but no. This is serious time. This is self-reflection time. Macho Man died. You got to look into a flame and just reflect on what you're missing now.
He's super intense. He's sitting Indian style. He's just staring
crisscross applesauce.
Staring into that fire. And Marie's worried. She's like, he's not like this.
Oh, my God. She's wearing a buffalo tuxedo, wind pants, and a wind jacket.
And she's like, Mark, what's going on? Let the police handle this. Let me go to the police. Damn it, Mark! Only God has the right to take the life of others.
I love you. And Mark chokes out the greatest I love you in return. The most convincing I love you I've ever heard.
And the most awkward of all hugs. It was like when you're like little kids and your mom makes you hug your sister.
Oh, yeah.
And
I got you that picture, too.
I
mean, that I don't think the GIF would be long enough. Like, we could get that in the GIF, but you got the picture. You should put that one up. Because he's got his arms extended onto his knees because he's in the crisscross and the applesauce. And she puts her head like near his forearm, not even up on the upper arm,
on
like
the shoulder, like
you would do. And then eventually, because he realizes, I got to make this right. I got to make this look good for the movie. I love this woman in the movie. My character does. He finally slowly leans his head in there, and they kind of touch head to head.
Did we mention that Mark has the worst bowl cut?
No, we have
moment?
not
Yes,
mentioned his
he
hair.
is
We've gone an hour.
The
and not
one
mentioned his
thing
hair.
Mark did not do on this movie was hair.
Yeah.
Everyone did their own hair, and they did a bad job.
Unless he did do his hair. He gets a haircut. At the
But
middle
he's
of the movie.
obviously trying to channel Bruce Lee. 'Cause Bruce Lee had the bowl cut in the 70s.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is a lot of Bruce Lee worship. So, next day, we're going to Tom's dojo. And there's a guy at the front desk wearing a very tasteful shirt.
Right.
It says, try a virgin.
Try a virgin.
That's got to be some kind of, like, product. Like, I don't know.
It
Back in the 80s, we don't, like,
Hey,
remember.
one of our fans might know.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to find out if that was actually a product.
Like, maybe it's Virgin Records. I don't know. Something
right,
like that.
something like that. But classic.
Or it's just a creep shirt. It says,
Yeah.
try a virgin.
Yeah.
This Big Johnson shirt, try a virgin.
He's classic Midwest trash. He's got gap teeth. He's got weird hair.
Has a mustache.
He's 19 and looks like he's 47
Because he probably smokes 3 packs a day.
and drinks 42 beers a day.
And Mark just, he's like, Tom's not here. He was in a car accident.
Tom is dead. All right? Leave now, please, unless you want a class.
And Mark just blows him off and just goes to the back part of the dojo. Hey, you can't do that. Only employees are allowed there. And Mark just nonchalantly, boom, just throws a fist up and knocks the guy out.
That's right. Storms into, we see this little guy. I think his name was Rick.
It's Rick, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a class going on.
Yeah,
Even though the owner's dead, martial arts must go on.
Owner's dead. Martial arts must go on.
The instructor, Rick, who me and Griff have differing opinions on what this guy was channeling.
True.
I think it was He-Man meets Chuck Norris because
Okay.
he has a beard and he has a dyed blonde page boy haircut.
Right.
Now, you think he looks like?
Ken from Street Fighter 2 era.
Is that time? Does that play out time-wise?
It wasn't like depending on when they filmed this, because if it did get filmed around the 90s,
Well, we'll say 1990 because that's what they say it came
I
out.
believe Street Fighter 2 was 92, so it doesn't pan out.
Okay.
But that blonde mullet, page boy mullet
Yeah,
thing,
it wasn't a mullet. It was a page boy.
Page
It was-
boy, okay.
It was He-Man hair.
the blonde page boy with the super dark eyebrows. That's
And dark
Ken.
beard.
But the problem is the beard. Ken doesn't really do the beard, especially not in that era. But that's all I could see. And so I don't know if we'll get that up, but we might.
So Mark walks in swinging his dick. He's ready for action. And Rick's like, you can't be here. This is for students only. Where the fuck is Tom? Well, Tom's dead. It was a car accident. I'm not leaving here till I get answers. And Rick's like, I'll give you some answers. Hey, you, attack him. And then we get a pretty decent fucking scene.
He calls for Bobby, who was his black student with giant Urkel glasses on. He did look like he was a fucking big-ass motherfucker. I don't know about his chocolate chip dip, but this guy was...
His chocolate chip dip. That is a tongue twister. And in fact, you probably want a tongue twisting on your chocolate chip dip. But yeah, he gets taken out by Mark like it's no big deal. He just takes him
He
out.
gets seconds because he gets up first, then all the other students get up, and Mark immediately goes 0 to 60. I have to murder every one of these people because he is no holds bar going at him. You know,
Well, they probably were involved with the death of his sister.
possibly. At this point, Mark has convinced himself they killed my sister.
Right.
So, you know what? It's wrong, but I can excuse Mark in his headspace for just trying to kill these people because he is doing so many lingering Bruce Lee punches where he's seething.
Right. He's doing the Bruce Lee shrieks.
Yeah, where he's flexing.
Like
so
I can't do them. It's so
hard.
high pitched. I can't do it. But you.
That's a little anime, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's like someone getting fucked with a tentacle in an anime. It's a
Let
little
it cry.
more like clipped. Bruce Lee, I can't do it. I'm like, wah! Like that kind
Yeah.
of shit.
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched a Bruce Lee movie in too long.
My last time was when we
Redford
covered
Theater.
we covered Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
That was after the Redford Theater.
Oh, okay.
So he takes out all the students, but they're students. Of course, they're not gonna beat the master. But Rick is like, oh, all right, I know how that is. Takes off the fucking gi top, flexing, pulls out a pair of nunchucks.
That's right. And then Mark somehow is like, oh yeah, no big deal. I got tri-chucks.
Right.
So instead of just the 2 on a chain, he's got 3 on a chain, just like George Washington at 8 on the Vine.
Right. And 3 beats 1 because he takes Rick out, beats his ass.
Just beats the shit out
Jax
of Rick.
grabs him by the throat, pins him against the wall. I want answers.
I don't have any information. Tom Hanzik is dead.
And as far as he knows, Tom just employs him to teach people martial arts. He might have nothing to do with any of this shit.
Right. And so, okay, first of all, we have a mini boss here in Rick. He's kind of a badass. He flexed.
He's the level 1 big boss.
He does have like a good body and everything, but
bad hair, good body.
Bad hair, good body. Good villain, though.
Yeah.
Good villain, though. I liked him. He had the look.
He stands out. He's not some vanilla midget you see in AW.
Exactly. I thought he popped for sure. Oh. And so seeing Mark beat him up, you're like, man, our guy really is a guy. I can believe in Mark. So he gets no information, but Mark will not leave with having the last word because Bruce Lee gets the last word.
I'll leave, but know this. The war has started.
So Mark rushes back out where a tri-aversion guy he's recovered, and Mark once again backfists him into submission, rushes into their office that tri-aversion was sitting at, and just griffs everything. And you know what? The first rule of griff, start with the open drawers.
A lot of filing cabinets for just some fucking dojo in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Suburban Buffalo.
And he spent so much time trying to unlock the locked file cabinets by just shaking them. That's not how you griff. The griffing is the art of subtlety.
But remember, we just said he's enraged because his sister was killed, and a calmer, cooler Mark would have done.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And so he finally gets his act together and starts looking for open drawers, and it just happens. The most damning piece of information is in a completely unlocked drawer and in a red folder where everything else is in a manila folder.
Right. It says Comet Steel Productions, 2141 Elmwood Avenue, which I'm assuming is actually where Mark Swetland works.
I'm pretty sure this place at least existed.
And there's a letter. It says canister delivery to the warehouse. Canisters?
This voiceover of Mark just going, canisters, why canisters?
But he's got a lead. So he takes that piece of paper and walks. Rick comes to. He's got blood dribbling down his mouth. He gets on the horn, calls up Patterson. So he is involved with all this criminal act. So he deserved the ass whipping he got.
Yeah, this is the first time we get the worlds colliding, because before it's like Patterson seems to be dealing with some separate issue entirely. And this is the first time you see it is it's mixed up.
And he's like, I don't think he got anything, but this guy's legit. You need to send a real backup.
I want real help. If you'll take my advice, if we get that real help, then we're absolved of the issue. This was Rick's explanation to it.
All right. Now, we want to talk about some real help. Here's what Griffith alluded to in the beginning of this episode 5 hours ago.
5 hours ago.
This is the build-up of the villain. We see some
so good
white trash dude out in the woods.
9 minutes of this, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a good shot though.
9 minutes of this guy setting traps to catch rabbits.
Right.
So they're like the little.
We know this because he's setting traps, and you see a shot of a rabbit.
Right. So they're like the bear traps, the traps you see in all like the Looney Tunes and shit. Like Elmer Fudd sets it up and then he steps in it.
Yeah.
The claw that clamps on your fucking leg.
Yeah.
And we see some shots of a rabbit, so we know he's putting it all together. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is it for?
I know. I was wondering because he shows the rabbits first. I was like, why are we just looking at a rabbit, Mark? That's why.
And then we see a man wearing fatigue slowly walk up behind this guy.
I was wondering why this guy is comically bent over to place these traps.
What? Well, he's very invested in these traps. He's staring at him. We're seeing Mark is showing us how you set the traps. He's going underneath, prepping them, And then the guy, as he's engrossed in his traps, Fatigue's guy comes up behind him, grabs one of the traps, and just clamps it on the guy's balls.
That's right.
And then he snaps his neck.
That's right. If we didn't mention this, Mr. Patterson did tell Rick, I know just the guy to call.
Right. And this is that guy. So the rabbit takes off. He will live to fight another day.
Yeah, they made sure to shoot the rabbit running away.
So we see some bros in a truck roll up to like a lodge.
This is supposed to be our assaulters from before, I think. These are the guys he told to lay low.
Oh, I didn't know idea.
So that's why they're in the middle.
No. This is just a setting up Steiner. This is another job for Steiner. There's no connection.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
This is just completely.
Just to show how badass Steiner is.
Some of the guys look identical.
Well,
to
it could have been.
guys.
Yeah, it could have been the same guys because they don't have enough actors.
Right.
But yeah, these are supposed to be different guys. So these guys roll up with the Pabst Blue Ribbon because this is like just some shithead guys who are hanging out hunting. You know,
right.
and in their lodge, which is look like a fucking motel or some shit.
It was interesting. Their like living room was on the second floor, so there's a staircase on the outside to get up to it.
There's a guy who they think is asleep. Yeah, passed out drunk.
Tom.
And they're like, God, Tom's drunk again.
Everybody got a name. We're always asking them, give us names. This movie gives us so many names.
And they're regular names. Griff was complaining. One of the movies we did had weird names.
Yeah,
I do
complain. Matiti is as weird as I want to get.
So they open the door and everybody's dead. And even Tom's dead. The guy checks his fucking pulse. Dead. And they're like, what the fuck? So as they go to leave, a fucking party van rolls up with flames on it, a heart-shaped window in the back.
That's right. Steps up into frame, crosses his arms, little mustache, kind of weird, frantic.
Kind of looks like
Booger.
I was gonna say John Oates.
Okay, John Oates.
It's a combination because John Oates is a little together with his look. He's
Yeah.
he's got the little sloppy boogerness about him.
Booger Oates.
How your friends doing? He comes out, just crosses his arms, looking cocky as shit.
That's right. And so they're like, oh, you motherfucker. They get their little pocket knives out and everything. And he's like, oh, okay. That's how it's going to be. So he's daring them to come at him.
And then he just starts toying with it. He takes one guy out immediately. And then the one guy just starts toying with it. And then he does, he sets up the finisher, which we're going to see later. This is the brilliance of Mark Swetland. It all makes sense.
Yeah, this is the guy he left behind was the guy with the knife too.
Yeah.
So he's knocking the knife out of his hand, handing it back, says, come again, try this next time, and then just beating his ass again. But yeah, he's easily beating him. Like I was trying to remember earlier, this is the fight where his big move, you think he's coming in because he jumps up and you think he's going to do the Superman punch. He slaps the shit out of this guy where his face turns to the camera and it's bloodied.
Because the guy's not worthy of a close fist. He doesn't even respect the guy. But the non-knife guy, he puts in a full Nelson and snaps his neck.
That's right. In slow motion.
It was a
Yeah.
celery. And then he gets on the phone and he doesn't talk to Patterson. He talks to his middleman that gives him his job.
Just so you realize this, he has it's a car phone, but it's a van phone because it's a van.
It's not even, it's like a phone.
Yeah.
Like it's literally, it's to put a phone in there.
Murray, we can't age this movie, yet alone like what era it could actually happen in. So it's like, of course it's going to just
It's a landline phone. It somehow is connected to the fucking van.
It's incredible.
And he's like, and then we learned this is Steiner. Just Steiner. And the guy's like, all right, I got another job for you.
Didn't sound like Patterson at all on the other side.
Because it wasn't Patterson. This is his in-between who sets his jobs up.
Okay,
that's what
good.
I'm thinking.
I thought it sounded like an Asian guy.
Yeah, because he says I'm sure it was, but he mentions, I got a job with this guy named Patterson.
Okay, good.
And he's like, hey, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm up for it.
All right. We got to go back to Mark, though. And he's parked outside of Comet Steel Productions. They show the roadside sign for Comet Steel Production.
It says AC Patterson or whatever.
Yes.
On the line.
Like, they did not craft this for the movie. This is a landmark in Buffalo. I don't know if it's still there.
This is where he works. I'm positive.
There was a McDonald's there. There was a weird-looking dude with a mustache looking for a lady out front.
Some car and another giant fucking boat, white trash car, like a Grand Prix or some shit.
Middle trash or white trash?
I'm gonna say white trash. The guys who are working for Patterson are pretty white trash.
Yeah, they're probably not getting paid well. They're probably getting a little bit of
They roll up. They're driving into Comet, and we see our boy Mark sitting there. How's he sitting again, Griff?
crisscross apple sauce.
And they stop, and he's like, "What is this guy? Get him out!" Or is he retarded? He didn't say retarded. He says retarded.
Retarded? Which does that make it right?
That makes him the retard.
Oh,
not Mark. So Mark gets up, beats the fuck out of the guy.
The one guy comes up to him, "Hey, buddy, you gotta move." He gets in too close. He's like a viper, just waiting to strike.
Did you notice all the guns are tiny in this movie?
Yes, they are. They are very
They're just little
emasculating.
cap guns.
Very small guns. And so driver gets out of the car and he's like, "I got a gun on you, pal. Don't even try it. Come over here closer." Closer.
I thought Mark had his back to him.
Yes, closer. Yeah. Turn around. Cool. Now just breathe. And he's like right, they're ass to crotch at this moment. And so Mark just goes, "Oh, that's the sound of a northern flicker." And the guy goes, "Where is it?" And then he kicks the gun out of his hand. Back style.
Yeah. So the gun is in air. He hits the guy, catches the gun as it comes down, and then throws it away.
Just dumps it right by him. And Mark has just decided, I need to go through the trunk. He is in full griff mode.
Right.
I need to search everything. I need all the loot.
Finds a Kinja Taché cases. This one's where they keep all their Vaseline and dildos.
And
no, they don't.
He has no problem cracking this case.
This was another really drawn-out scene.
It was really drawn out.
Because he opens it up. We see there's little canisters. It looks like pipe bombs.
Are you kidding me? Canisters? Canisters?
It's all falling into place.
That's the new playoffs. Canisters?
And he's examining them. This literally, the scene went on way too long. Because he's examining them.
Well, it's a puzzle. That you would like my grandma used to give us these stupid puzzles that no one could solve. She gives
it's a pipe bomb is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
And so he's trying to work the puzzle. It's a Rubik's Cube of a puzzle.
And then he's just like, I'll screw off the end.
Yeah.
Unscrews it, opens it up, bags like must be flour. He does a nummy, as our friend Yacht Rock Sean taught us. That's what you do when you see a Coke looking object. You do a nummy.
That's
and
right.
He's like, doesn't say it, but he knows
do
that's
you think
cocaine.
Mark Sweatland does coke?
Not at all. He's fucking pure.
Too athletic.
He does. He's on like juice diet. That's all he makes juices.
Bruce Lee, whatever Bruce Lee did. Well, if Bruce Lee did coke,
I think he did. I think hashish is what killed him. He had an allergic reaction to hashish.
Oh wow!
Made his brain swell.
Well, that's not a coke.
No, it's not.
Yeah. But it's drug.
It is a drug.
It is a drug.
So so Mark probably does a little of the hash.
Yeah.
Hash oil.
Just to chill him out, because sometimes he gets a little too wild.
But while that's going on, the first guy who got kicked pulls out his giant ass block Seinfeld phone.
Now this is great. Yeah.
Calls in for reinforcements.
Right. And so as Mark has gummied up the coke and everything, that's when we see two more cars and two dirt bikes approaching him, because they're just on like this long dirt road entrance to the steel mill. On the opposite side of them, there's like a fenced-in area. Opposite side, there's
it's a wooded area.
A wooded area that leads to train tracks. We haven't done a whole lot near train tracks because we're not often in the Midwest.
Right.
So now that we're in Midwest,
this looks very familiar to an area we used to like ride our bikes. When I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to say it now, Murray. We don't often talk about train tracks, but I think the train tracks are the docks of the Midwest.
The what of the Midwest?
The docks.
Oh.
We're always talking about how
because we're landlocked. Well, Michigan, we're not landlocked. We're surrounded by water.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, if you're living in bumfuck Indiana, the train tracks.
Yeah, the train tracks are the fucking docks. So that's where shady shit's going to happen. That's why I want to have train track front property.
So Mark takes out one of the dirt bikers and jumps on his bike and is being chased by the other one.
So we've got a red dirt bike and a yellow dirt bike. Mark immediately, I think, gets the red dirt bike, and he's off. Yellow dirt bike chasing after him. Long scene. There's lots of cool hills to jump over. Clearly, Mark also liked martial arts and, dirt biking.
Well, it's 80s, yeah. It
makes sense, yeah.
So Mark gets up on the high ground, which is in your fight, that's where you want to be, on the high ground.
Right.
But not when you're with a guy fighting a guy with a gun.
Right.
because the other dirt biker pulls out a gun, aims it at Mark, boom, shoots Mark.
So Mark rolls down this giant hill. He's separated from his dirt bike. He's just lying there.
Does his own stunt. I mean, it's a pretty steep hill.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good roll. Yeah.
Biker pulls up on him. He's like, this guy's got to be dead. I shot him.
Right. But Mark knows how to play possum.
You missed. Boom. Kicks him.
He says it with so much glee.
Beats a shab, and then he goes, you lose. And then he steals that guy's bike.
So now he's firing off on the yellow dirt bike. The red dirt bike's been left behind somewhere. The goon who he just punked on gets his gun because Mark always leaves the gun behind. He's like, nah, that's cheating to take your gun. You can have it. This goon goes up, gets the remaining dirt bike, and chases after, catches up because dirt bikes are loud as shit. And now we're in like a heavily wooded area.
Right. And the biker comes up and he sees that Mark's bike's just laying there by itself.
Right.
And he's like, what's going on? And then Mark just hops out of nowhere, jumps on bitch style on the back.
Yeah.
Takes over, goes up to a cliff, leaps off. The guy goes over the cliff.
We actually watch the bike. Well, he drops a dummy, and we watch the bike go flying over the cliffside, and we actually get a little explosion.
Yeah, a real explosion.
Right.
You get a CGI explosion. Now, I think even Blackbird had the awful CGI.
Yes, they did.
Flames.
But, Murray, we got more important things to cover here.
We're talking about important. What's more important than being choppered in? There's 2 chopper in scenes in this movie, by the way. Ultra low budget, 2 chopper scenes.
2 choppers, man. Come on.
We see this chopper. We're like, this guy must be important.
I mean, he might as well be Ric Flair being dropped into the middle of a fucking, stadium stampede.
Right.
Because this is intense.
2 goons are waiting. They're talking about this Steiner character that we saw earlier. And this guy's like, I heard this guy's unbeatable.
Motherfucker, unbeatable? Really?
He's undefeatable, if you
Undefeatable.
will.
Oh, my God.
And the guy's like, I could take him. Oh, I'll make sure to tell him that. No, don't do that.
Please don't.
And
Anyways.
The chopper comes down. It's our boy Steiner. Got his fucking fatigues on, ready to kick some ass.
All right, we're cutting back over to Mark, and he's done with wherever he was by the train tracks. He's pulling up to Kathy's place, and he is fucking urgent. I need to get Kathy. She needs to go down with me to the police
station. He's got all the
station.
evidence he needs.
Yeah, we're going to the police station.
Did he even take the cocaine with him as evidence?
I don't know. I didn't.
He's
see
going to
any
show his
cocaine.
gum?
Yeah. I got it stored up here somehow. Yeah, that's a good question.
But he's like, Kathy. And then Bob, I guess it's her dad, comes out. Oh, my God, son. We can't go to because he's like, I got the evidence. We can go to the police now. No, we can't. They came. They took Marie. They want you to meet at, I think they said the old arena. It was the ice arena?
I couldn't tell what they said.
I think old arena because it was literally an elementary school gym, not even a high school gym.
Yeah.
Like in an abandoned school.
Right. Either way.
They want to meet you this evening, and they'll give you Marie if you come alone. Alone. No! He turns, faces the camera, one tear dropping down his eye.
You don't even understand what it's like to lose everybody you love in your life. I will kill them.
So before he goes off to this meeting, he stops by a little airport, little like Buffalo County, wherever Erie County, I think is where Buffalo's in, and to pick up Roy. Roy's coming in.
Hey, you remember how he had a friend earlier that he told Kathy about, Roy Adams?
Yeah, the investigator.
The private investigator, his friend who was in the police business for 10 years and then retired to become a PI.
This guy's 18, 19 tops. Little chubby little dude.
He started when he was 7.
And this is where I saw the newspaper thing said Buffalo News. I'm like, all right, this is filmed in Buffalo.
Okay.
So they head back to Mark's place, and this is where we break it all down. But seamless. He's like, Roy's like, tell me about, how are we going to get these guys? You say you have evidence. He's like, all right. Here's how they do it. They must keep the drugs at the school nearby.
Right.
Because everybody knows steel plants are constantly being federally inspected for safety.
Right.
Back in the old archaic fucking liberal days.
Yes, exactly. Roy's playing ignorant here. Why wouldn't they keep the drugs at the warehouse then? And the liberals and, Mark goes on his whole screed. He's a libertarian probably.
Right.
Like you said, this is a MAGA crowd.
So he's like, yeah, they keep it at the school because of all those inspections. And then when the inspectors leave, then they take it back to the mill, they pack it up in canisters, and they ship it out.
Yes. You know what? This is a set case. All we got to do now is go to the police.
Open and shut case.
We can't go to the police. They said I have to meet them. Well,
they're going to kill Marie. You got to go to the cops, Mark.
And if you're not going to go to the cops, you need me as backup. They might have guns.
They told me to come alone.
Okay.
I'm going to play along with these motherfuckers this time, but next time, I'm going to bring in a little backup. You ever hear about the guardian angels? They're coming with me.
Holy shit. You can get the guardian angels?
I wonder if the guardian angels still exist anymore. That's such an 70s, 80s thing.
It's such a funny thing for Buffalo, too.
Well, it wasn't. Oh, I mean, it was a New York City thing,
Yeah,
technically.
exactly.
But they did have branches and other. I mean, it was. I never saw a guardian angel here, but it was a thing apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember Curtis Sliwa was the guy who started the Guardian Angels, who became like a fucking. Well, he was probably always a conservative guy, but he became a conservative radio talk show asshole. I think he ran for like mayor of New York at one time.
Wow.
He was always on the talk shows in the 80s. He had a hot wife. And even though he was like a dork, he looked like one of these guys in this movie. And they had that little red berets and shit. I mean, I'm not going to shit on it because there was people trying to help people because New York was fucked up in that era. Like, people getting robbed on the subways all the time.
Right. That's what's always funny when people are like, crime's going through the roof. It's like, we had a time when it's like, you needed vigilantes to help people just get on the subway.
And they didn't carry guns. They just, fought people.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, all right. He's like, go with God, my friend.
Go with God, my friend. Go with the Christ. And you know what? It's time to cut to. Okay.
You need to tidy up that hair a little first.
Oh, yeah, of course. And you're under the speculation that he did everything himself, including the hairdressing.
I don't think he did the hairdressing, but he might have put a bowl on his head and cut around because he's got a fresh bowl cut for this scene. This scene took 24 hours to film, Griffin. I believe it. Because most action scenes take about 2 weeks to film. So they go to some dilapidated elementary school.
I loved this background for this. This looked like a fucking Street Fighter background. It was awesome.
It looked like the gym, the half gym at my elementary school because we only had a half court. We didn't have a full court. It was a half court and a stage.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We actually had a full court, but one of the hoops, they would bend up and down so they wouldn't
because you would have, that's where the lunchroom would be too.
Yeah, that was our lunchroom too.
Right. So that's probably here. So Steiner's just chilling out on the stage.
Oh, it's so good. He's in darkness. You can just kind of see like the silhouette of his face and everything. It was so good outline.
So you finally showed up. I'm paid to be here, and I'm going to kill you. You'll die if you fight me.
All right. So the two jump down. They're squaring up. He's doing all of his Bruce Lee, loosening, limbering.
He's doing the hop. He's doing like Bruce Lee, the hopping around shit that Bruce would do.
Yes, he does.
Shit.
Staying light and everything. He does this thing with his arm where he kind of like snake waves it and shit. He's doing all the Bruce Lee
And I
shit.
give it up to fucking Sweatland. This is technically a vanity project, but he gives Steiner his shit. Steiner gets his heat.
Yes.
Because Steiner whoops his ass in the beginning.
Dude, this fight, again, I think I already said it earlier, but somebody in that idiot channel YouTube comment stole my heat here because I was going to say the action in this movie is better than John Wick. This fight scene is actually fucking good. And like you said, Steiner here is getting his heat because he is beating the fuck out of Rick.
He first gets a kick in.
Rick, Mark.
Then he picks Mark up and just throws him down.
Right. And Mark is bloodied from all this. His face is bruised. He's bleeding out of the mouth and the nose.
But then Mark comes back with a flurry of punches. He's like, bah, 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 punching Steiner. But Steiner gets him in the finisher. We set that up earlier. The full Nelson. But what does he get wrong, Griff? He doesn't lace his fingers.
That's right.
So fucking Mark gets out of it.
He's able to break it because Mark is still a fucking... He's legit.
But he's met his match. It's
Yeah.
an evenly matched fight. So, like I said, it was a very real. This was a very pre-UFC MMA fight. There's grappling. They're rolling across the fucking court.
It was like these two actually had fought together and stuff and were comfortable like sparring with each other and just going with it and filming whatever they could get. Because, yeah, they go from serious fight to full Nelson to now we're tumbling to see who can get control of this thing.
Right.
And they get good shots, and they're like the way Mark's putting it together actually looks really good. I mean, it's dimly lit, which some people might say that's shit, but I really liked it for this fight.
When you're considering the minuscule budget and the lack of experience everybody on this film has, it's really good.
Yeah. If you threw, some
By
of
the
you
way,
had
we didn't say this. This is available on YouTube, so you can see this. I think it's on Tubi too.
Yeah.
So you can see it for free.
Yeah, just do a Blood and Steel full movie, whatever like that. You'll find it. You'll see Mark out there with his fucking Bruce Lee jammies on.
Right. So they're back and forth, but then Mark gets that little dick slap.
That's right.
And that's enough, because then he fucking gorilla presses Steiner and just breaks his back on his knee. Full Bane style.
That's right.
No more games!
And then Mark makes his leave. Makes
leaves
his
the body. Their body's never found. He just rots in that fucking school.
Right. So we know what this fight was for and everything. Like he said he was supposed to be handed Marie if he came alone. He came alone. He wasn't given Marie. So now what is he going to do? What did he promise Roy he would do? Get the Guardian Angels. Murray, man, even Murray's lost in this story. He's just so enamored with that fight.
Cut to Patterson. He's starting to sweat. And he's got all his goons, his elderly goons with him. Swetlin escaped. Cancel all the orders for now. No deliveries. We have to shut this operation down.
And we see he's just got a bunch of stooges. Danny Masterson's here for some reason. I didn't know his acting career.
Well, there is allusions to rape in this scene.
I know.
So
it makes sense.
Yeah.
He looked just like Hyde in fucking that 70s show, and I see where he gets the inspiration. It was himself. In this movie.
Another work trailer, they have Marie and some goons guarding her.
Yeah. Their fascination with coffee is next to David Lynch level. Like, They did the overhead Carl Weathers shot of coffee being poured 14 times.
Right. And this guy, they're all talking shit. They're like, I don't care if he's Bruce Lee. He can't stop a bullet. And they pull out a tiny little Derringer.
Man.
And Marie's like, you're going to get your ass kicked, motherfuckers.
And then we get that fucking classic shot. You might as well have scored it to the fucking opening Twin Peaks track. Dong, 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 where they're working on the tree trunks and everything, the sawmill. Because we're in the steel mill just watching dudes bend bars.
The bending rebar.
Yeah.
My guess is that Mark probably told his boss, hey, I'll make an industrial film, much like David Lynch started out industrial films.
That's right. Philadelphia.
And if you just let me use the mill, and he's like, "This sounds like a good idea, young man." And then these shots were so beautiful. He's like, "I got to put them in my movie."
That's right.
So we see a lot of rebar being bent. We're seeing hard-working Midwest blue-collar guys.
I think we had an original.
I think
song.
Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs was there.
It makes sense that cunt would be in this scene too. Of course he was. I'm a real man. Watch me bend rebar with these bros. I'm going to feed them tuna sandwiches for my navel.
And, we got to pad this movie. We got to get that 87 minutes. So we're seeing a little of that, and then everything shuts down. Mark standing there in his game of death, pre-Kill Bill. He was the first guy to copy Bruce.
That's right.
Yellow tracksuit that, zips up in the back.
It's
a onesie.
Yeah.
And he's standing there, and he's got Roy in, his fucking sweat tracksuit.
He just had I thought he had a full orange and blue tracksuit on, just like Mark's, but he did have blue jeans. It was just a zip-up hoodie.
And two Guardian Angels. How do we know they were Guardian Angels? Because they had shirts. They had 3/4 tees with Guardian Angel iron on their chest.
That's right. And so everybody is like, "Oh wow, who are these dudes? You think you guys are gonna beat us up? We're steel workers."
We may be outnumbered, but we're not outclassed. Yes.
That was one of the guardian angels who stepped up to another guy who was a foot shorter than him, 50 pounds lighter than him, and he fucking, again, these were martial arts students, clearly. People along with Mark, because this guy did have some moves.
So this is the two guardian angels and Roy take on these guys because Mark's got to get Marie. So he just leaves. He doesn't even fight these guys.
This fight is all over the place, but I gotta give it to him. This is one of the more entertaining fights I've seen because we're just getting kind of like little glimpses, like 8-second little glimpses into the fight and how crazy it is.
We get that shot where one of the guardian angels takes over a forklift and jacks a guy up by his dick.
Yeah, there's a guy, we see one of the steel workers throw something and a guardian angel grabs an empty barrel and blocks it with the barrel. There was so much cool shit to this fight, and it worked. It worked so well. Mark has no idea what he's doing, and he made a more entertaining fight than anything I saw in John Wick.
A more realistic fight than John Wick.
Can you name an action scene from John Wick?
Dog getting shot. Did the dog get shot? I know the dog got killed.
They do that off camera.
We're back to the thing where Marie's locked up, and guys get another
thing.
trailer. And goon number 12 goes to get another cup of coffee, and he's like, I'm going to have some fun with you. I got the flour. I'm going to put W in it and go for the wet spot. And she's like, fuck you.
See, here's a question I need to ask you, because I brought this up off mic.
Yeah.
We know the secretary's probably innocent in all this.
Yeah.
But they literally have a woman tied up in the front room.
Or is she the mastermind behind it all?
She might be, because you hear her typing in the back.
Yeah, she's probably a single mom. This is like hard to get a job for women back then. They could pay a living wage. She doesn't want a waitress anymore.
She's probably got a special needs
She's
kid.
just looking the other way.
Yeah,
she's one of the first people to have the vaxxed autistic kid.
Yeah.
You know.
And so it's like, I need to do everything I can because this fucking, government, nobody helps me with this shit.
Patterson's like, there's Sweatland! Sweat hogs! Go get them! So all those guys take off. Marie's working those ropes behind her back, and she gets loose. Mark, it's time to shine. He's got his shurikens. He's got his nunchucks. He's ready to fuck shit up.
Again, we're getting just like the 5, 6, 7-second scenes of each character kind of doing something. Mark's chucking a star.
Hits a guy right in the forehead.
Yep, you see it landing in some guy. He's got two guys running at him, and he jumps up and kicks one with the left and one in the right in the same jump.
Roy, I like how you say Roy's putting his weight on because he's portly himself.
Yes.
And he's kicking a little ass.
He reminds me, I'm sorry, what was that John Claude movie? Never Retreat, Never Surrender?
No retreat, no surrender.
Yeah, you remember the fat kid who was eating the cake? Is that Roy with dark hair?
Well, I mean, Mark is definitely channeling the kid who was obsessed with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
That's the kid grown up is Mark.
Yeah.
Because he actually went out, had a fucking jumpsuit made.
That's right. I forgot that
movie. You know
movie.
damn well Mark Wetland made Mark Sweatland made a pilgrimage to his grave and put some flowers on.
He did. Yeah, he gave him his flowers.
Right.
And his flower. I mean, he jerked off on him.
So Roy goes to get Marie in the office. And he gets shot by Patterson. Yeah. Patterson pulls out a rifle.
Roy somehow gets a gun, and he's shooting people
he's
down.
He's a cop or an investigator.
And so he's shooting people down, and then he sees the office, so he makes a beeline for the office. And he gets in there, and Patterson's running for his life. Grabs a gun. He's in the hallway. Secretary dodges for the bathroom.
But Patterson has a rifle, which is a very awkward gun to have in a gunfight.
Yes, it is. And so they're aiming up on each other when Ed or Hank, one of the old men, busts out of the bathroom. He was shitting his brains out for the whole fight.
Coffee, dude. All that coffee they were drinking goes through you.
All that coffee. And so he gets, Roy still shoots Ed or Hank, whoever it is. But that buys Patterson time to shoot Roy.
Roy gets shot in the arm.
Right in the arm.
So
just,
you'll be okay.
Just tatters his sweatshirt.
Right.
And it got him a little bloody.
Marie gets out. She gets loose, but she immediately gets punched in the face.
Oh, my God. That shot. Mark held no bars. That's what I'm fucking talking about, because she got slugged. And again, Mark likes to do the thing where somebody gets punched. You see the punch from behind. So we're looking at Marie's back. She gets fucking decked. He juices the fuck out of the sound effect of it. She turns out of the camera and blood squirting out of her face.
She gets dragged into a car by one of the goons. He takes off. Mark sees this.
I recognize this goon. It's the goon that picked up Mina in in that other movie.
Which one? There were a lot of.
I know we did a lot of
the
Minas.
guy in the
Dangerous Men.
Jag, was it a Jag?
Yeah, that was the Jag man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes sense. But how do you grow that mustache?
Dude, I guess he had it in him.
So he takes off. Mark sees that he jumps on in a random car. Thankfully, we always in the Midwest always keep our keys in the visor.
Yes.
I like this. All the goons he beat up are splayed out. He drives over them.
Yeah.
It's like,
The continuity there was fantastic. Mark is killing it.
Patterson's running out for his life with the. Okay, this is a very confusing scene. This is how I interpret it because I'm like I said, Mark is seamless. He covers all bases. He's got a rifle. They're like it's like dirt roads because they're out in the fucking middle of nowhere.
Right.
The barrel of his gun falls into the dirt. 'Cause he like stumbles.
Yes.
And he picks it up, and then Roy gets the best of him, says, freeze, motherfucker, I'm going to kill you. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. He puts the gun down, puts his hands up. He's cuffed.
Right.
Patterson turns around, hulks up. Who knew Patterson had him in? This old fat guy breaks the fucking handcuffs,
Right.
spins around, gets his rifle back up.
Yeah, he beats the shit out of Roy, then turns, grabs his gun, and now Roy's getting up, and he's got a rifle right in the camera's lens. And we see there's like tobacco packed into it or something.
It's dirt. That's what it's supposed to be. Like he covered himself with that little shot.
Yeah.
And but still. It's going to cause the gun backfires, explodes in Patterson's face.
It's full Looney Tunes. It's
His
Bugs
brain
Bunny.
goes, Looney Tunes, his brain splatters everywhere.
Roy might
He would just
as
be
well-
covered in soot if it was Looney Tunes.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Roy might as well put his finger in the fucking barrel.
So there's like literally this brain matter, and I go, all right, I guess the case is closed.
Case closed.
All right, so this is the plan. The guy who's got Marie. They're in the cornfields now, out in this rural area. I'm just going to pull off the road and hide from Mark.
Right.
And it almost works because Mark drives by, but then he just looks to his right and goes, oh, there they are.
Yep.
So he stops. The guy takes off, goes back to where he came from. Mark's like, I don't have time for fucking turning around. Clicks it in reverse and just starts fucking hauling ass down this fucking street.
So they finally catch up and everything. The captor pulls over, Jagman pulls over, gets out, and runs for the park. Again, it's just like the earlier scene when Judy was getting assaulted, where there was like all the brush by the roadside, and then there's just a park clearing on the other side.
Right.
So that's what we got. A 1 minute jog, and then you're into this giant, beautiful, pristine park. Flowers everywhere, goldenrod. This was done in the fall, clearly. And so we get in there, and Mark's not far behind.
He catches up, and the guy grabs Marie, puts a gun to her head. I'll kill this bitch! Marie bites his arm. She escapes, stumbles away. And now, here it goes. Time for Mark Swetland to show his stuff.
Right. And I want to know where this goon was hiding these sticks, because he just suddenly busts out. What's that?
Pants legs.
The pant legs. He had like some sweet cargo pants.
You know how he was walking really stiff-legged? Yeah, he's got those like fighting sticks.
Yeah.
And Mark just goes, oh, sweet boy, you have no idea what you got into. Where was he hiding him? Because he goes behind his neck, pulls out a pair of nunchucks he had in his fucking little onesie.
This is where he went Tony Khan. Wouldn't it be cool if I just pulled red nunchucks, red, yellow, black, it just popped to him.
And then we just get that, scene where he's just twirling the chucks.
Yeah, minutes. He catches it between his thighs at one point right before it touches his dick. You can't do that if you're...
It's called an Eric Roberts.
If you have full chocolate chip dip dick, you can't do that.
Well, we saw that's a pretty tight onesie. I don't think he had... There's no dip in his chocolate chip.
He's probably got it cinched in his waistband just in case he gets aroused.
So they're fucking going back and forth. The guy's barely keeping up because the chucks are flying everywhere.
That's right. And these guys, they have a long back and forth fight. I mean, it's actually, I shouldn't say back and forth because it's pretty much Mark the whole time.
Right.
It's interesting though because Mark's just beating his ass. He obviously beats him in the nunchuck stick fight.
Knocks one of the sticks out of the guy's hands.
Okay.
And then the guy kicks Mark in the chest, and Mark falls down, and his chest's all bloody. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Did I miss something in this fight?
And then we do like a Rikio, like, zoom in, and this guy is wearing cleats. Metal cleats.
Right. Well, it's just, 80s. They had to use the metal cleats back then.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like a pair of Zips, some shitty-ass fucking Kmart shoes with cleats on them.
Zips? Were those really Kmart shoes?
Those were considered, you want to burn somebody back in elementary school, you wear Zips, motherfucker.
Zips! I want to hear more.
So I don't know how they got slashes. He had like 3 slashes across it, like a bear claw. That's why I was like, did an animal come out of nowhere?
Right, it's like a straight kick to his stomach, and yet...
I was shocked because this is such what Bruce Lee loved. It wasn't a footprint on his chest.
Yeah.
Because that would have worked with because he had the Game of Death fucking jumpsuit
right,
on.
a comical footprint, yeah.
But like you said, he bends down, picks up his stick that got knocked out, and then he...
This is a great moment where Mark realizes what happens, goes into a frenzy, goes for the guy's fucking foot, because the guy tried to kick him, so he actually caught it, rips the cleat off, throws it into the air, and because this is a cartoon now, the guy looks up.
I thought he kicked him in the nuts, and he bent over. Yeah.
While he's looking up at the cleat he threw in the air, he kicks him in the dick. Then he bends over. Then he catches the cleat, and then he plants it in the back of the guy's head.
Yeah. So we had a comical thing. It's stuck in his head. He falls down. He pulls it out. He gets up. He's not even seeing double. This goon is seeing quintuple. He's seeing 5 fucking of Mark.
Cosplay hextuple.
And he's just like, he's so woozy. He's like, I got to take my jacket off for this.
Well, once you get that woozy, you got to take off your clothes. It's just like that song. I am getting so hot, I got to take all my clothes off.
Takes it off. And what do you see? There's a fresh bandage right on his shoulder. Right where a particular ski masked guy who murdered his sister had.
We probably even heard a voiceover at this point from Kathy. You want to look for the man with the shoulder injury.
We got multiple flashbacks in this scene. Black and white flashbacks. To let us know it's a flashback. That's an old trick. Make it black and white.
Mark got it.
And he's like, you! And he just unloads on this
We thought
guy.
he hulked up before. He's double hulking now.
He's just like fucking a flurry of fucking fists of flurry fury.
There we go.
Pummeling this guy, takes him out, but like any good hero, he decides to show mercy.
Yeah, he's got him on the ground and he's pummeling him. Blood is spraying everywhere, and he's ready to deliver one more punch, stops himself, and goes, this isn't what Bruce would do.
This isn't what Judy would want me to do. Or, Judy.
The Midwest names in this, there's too many of them. I had to fix so much, and I'm glad when you walked in, you didn't say, you fucked every name up.
No, I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
And so he walks away. But we've learned this a million times, you never turn your back on a villain.
Sure enough.
Because they're backstabbers.
That's right. And this man, he's got the fucking leather bracelets with studs in it, and you see him start twitching, pull together. Goes into his boot.
Goes into his tube sock.
Pulls
out a knife. It's like a steak knife. And he hurls it.
I wasn't expecting this, though.
Yeah. It actually hits fucking Mark.
I was
waiting for Mark to catch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It lands straight in his back.
Right in his kidneys.
And Mark goes down on his knees.
Pulls the knife out. Throws it back. Goes right.
No, look. I didn't realize that the first time I watched it. He falls to his knee, pulls it out, and then just chucks it behind him.
Right into the throat of this fucking dude.
Hey, this prosthetic
straight up, this Ricky O move right there.
It was. It looked pretty good, too.
All right, he's finally gotten revenge. So he has to go get closure at the fucking grave of Judy. And this is where we hear that beautiful song we started our episode with. It's him and Marie. They have flowers for Judy, little Judy Nero. because that was probably the coolest looking gravestone they had. So he said her last name is Nero.
Isn't that funny? Sister Nero, brother Nero. Yeah.
And then we have now we finally get to see why he was so distraught, why he loved his sister, because we flash back to when they were children.
You should put this picture up on Twitter too. I got this.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
We see a young little Mark. How do we know it's Mark? Because he's got a little muscle shirt with iron on that says Kung Fu King on it.
That's right.
He's got a cast on his right arm. Why does he have a cast? Because he's practicing breaking bricks. He's doing the Dimmock. Is that the fucking move?
Oh, yeah, the death move. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got cinder blocks. He's got them piled up, like shelved up. He's ready to use his good hand because he broke his hand the first time.
Sister comes out. This is, of course, Judy comes out. Again, both brown-haired kids who suddenly turned into blondes. And she comes out eating, I don't know, did you realize what sandwich she was eating?
No, I did not.
You can't think back at a buffalo. What would a buffalin at that age be eating?
I don't know. Buffalo wings? Sandwich?
Buffalo wing sandwich, just bone and all. And she comes out choking on a buffalo wing.
Great pantomime acting from these children.
Yes.
They're giving it their all. No, you can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything.
She's just like, get her finger,
finger wag,
yeah.
Pulls up his right arm and points to it, and then grabs him by the ear and leads him back inside.
She cares about her brother, and he cares about her.
That's right.
And then we
but
flash.
Not Mike.
Flash
no
forward,
one cares about Mike.
Nope, fuck Mike. Flash forward 10 more years, and we see a grown Judy, a girl Mark, and they're doing like what family does, playing frisbee.
Oh yeah, this was kind of weird, but it wasn't Dangerous Men weird with Mina and her dad, because this is supposed to be husband and wife.
Yeah.
Because Mike tackles Judy and then gets on top of her and is tickling her.
Yeah, was he? Because I was like, is he tickling her, or is he going for his pants and pull his dick out?
There was a minute where he was fondling his pants. It was
like he was gonna pull his dick out, and then he decides, oh shit, that's her brother's there, so he starts tickling her to cover.
We're in public, which usually doesn't stop us, but her brother's here. We shouldn't do this.
We come back to Mark at the gravestone, tear trickling.
Marie
down.
is also here. She dressed up for the occasion.
Midwest dressed up. She's consoling him, and they just walk off. They got arms around each other's shoulders as they walk off. Because that's the thing, Griff. Even though you get revenge, you're really digging two graves.
You're digging two graves. That's right. But hey, that was a fucking movie right there. That was a misunderstood genius level movie.
And once again, much like John S. Rad, I'm just left wondering what more. Because that's their first effort. What greatness could they have done if they were actually given an opportunity?
That's right.
But no, we'd rather give our attention to shitheads like those fucking YouTube guys instead of misunderstood geniuses like ourselves. Speaking of us being geniuses, Griff, we are geniuses, but we saved the most misunderstood genius for last. This guy is such a genius. Even Griff and I, geniuses though we are, have trouble understanding him.
Every time we do one of his movies, we constantly are just lost in a certain lodge, maybe a trash lodge, just trying to decipher the messaging.
Of course, we're talking about Mr. Neil Breen. All right, I'm gonna say the disclaimer right now. We are frantically trying. We've already put the order in.
Yeah, we've done everything we could on our end to make this happen.
It's all about Breen. If Breen wants to sell 1 million copies of this movie, his latest movie, the sequel to the movie, I don't remember the title of, but that was the last Breen movie we did. This movie it's for the past year, it's been going to all the film festivals, winning all these awards, and finally Neil has decided, we the people, it's time for us to see it.
Yeah.
It's only available on DVD. Griff ordered it last night as we're speaking.
That's right.
We're gonna cross our fingers and hope, because we know damn well Neil Breen's mailing these fucking things out.
Yeah,
we're hoping we're on the top of the list.
Yeah, he said it could take up to 3 weeks.
Yes, well, he's an old man.
Yeah.
But if it happens, we will be. This might be the first ever, unless those fucking douchebags on YouTube scoop us.
God damn it!
This will be the first ever review, the newest movie we ever done, because it just got released yesterday.
Yes.
It's called Cade, The Tortured Crossing, the sequel to the last movie we did. I don't remember what it was called.
Right. However, If we don't have that on time,
we will be doing another. We haven't decided yet. We will be doing another of the Breen movies we haven't done yet.
yeah, maybe we'll start at the beginning. I already have one on hand because I got it for Abra a long time ago, so we might just do that one. We'll see.
So, like, we can't fathom what a misunderstood genius does. It's all in his hands.
That's
now.
right.
We are but the conduits to tell you what it is. So hopefully we'll be doing Cade the Tortured Crossing next week. If not, we will be doing something Breen-esque. So all you Brainiacs, keep it warm.